like to kick every episode off by going around the table, which is where we talk about something new, fun, and noteworthy about our weeks. And guys, it's like the first week that we haven't seen each other in a week.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like yeah.
It feels like the very first time.
Yeah.
It's weird. I actually have a story that I'm not going to share, but my body is going through withdrawals, not physically, but from like emotionally, the highs of being with people for the last 2 weeks and all the encouragement and all the affirmation. I'm a words of affirmation guy. So like I was like pumped and ready to roll with all that stuff. And then I get back and it's not like anybody's been mean or disrespectful or discouraging, but in the lack of such an abundance of that, I feel like lethargic and kind of depressed. It's like,
yeah, because when you're at an event, like I was thinking about the bridge, and if you tried to walk from one end to the other during the bridge party, you're going to get stopped 10 times, and people are going to want to have conversations and hug you, and how good it is to see you, and how awesome, and blah blah blah. And yeah, you're right. You just
and then you get home and nobody goes out of their way to sign up to talk to you.
Oh, you're out of town?
Here's what I realized. I'm not around anybody else that's funny.
Ever.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah.
There was no laughing happening. No, that's not
Matt's
quite
not
true.
listening to this.
Yeah, 100%. No, it was good times. I miss you guys for sure.
I know.
Yeah, the events were great. I mean, honestly, so I didn't get to go to Crop, which we were represented at. Y'all were both there, and we did a bunch of interviews. I did get to go to Creative South. Creative South, I mean, best one yet. Absolutely. The interactions with people, getting to do the hot seats.
Yeah.
The workshop for those that got to participate with that, and that whole experience was just amazing. And so
we're going to dialogue more. We're going to kind of give like a full debrief with a couple of hoodlums
on Thursday
later on in the week. But yeah, I agree, Patrick. It was really good.
So in the meantime, I'll just take it and jump into my around the table. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
So first, before we get too far in this episode, I do want to make you aware of something awesome, and that is the swag that we now have at shop.m1podcast.com. So this is an example of the stacked word bubble pen right there. And then this is the, I'm calling it the ghost hat. I know that we didn't talk about it, but I feel good about it. But these are two items that are now available on the shop.
The fact that we didn't instruct you to change the name means that we're good with it.
It must be fine. So that's two items on the shop. So if you haven't been there, again, shop.m1podcast.com. There's shirts and mugs and hats and tons of stuff. Go check it out. The pin especially, very proud of. Did we talk about the process on the show?
Yeah, a little bit.
Pin?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, just that kind of like see-through enamel that's like tinted. It's super cool. So pick those up.
It's beautiful in person.
The biggest compliment for me, anyway, as the designer of them, has definitely been
that I wore it.
The handful of people that make pins like for a living. Like this is one of the products they offer for their job. And when we've shown it to them or given it to them, they put it on right away and compliment it.
Yeah.
And so that for me is like, if you can get an artist to love your art, then that's a good step.
Sure.
Totally. Okay, I want to bring closure to a story. This was several years in the making. And y'all don't know about this. But this week I got a package. This package I expected to get something like a few months ago, and it never showed up. And I said, well, I guess that's it. Don't really care. You know, I just kind of dusted it off. And it came anyway. Here it is. The last package from the loyal subjects from the program. It turns out they wrote the wrong apartment on it, and it's just been sitting down in my apartment complex for a couple of months. Somebody finally caught the error today. They corrected it. I went to pick up a package, and then I ended up getting it. So I haven't even gone through it yet. So I'm going to try to, as gracefully as possible, show these items right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm excited or just over it because this has been a long process.
So the first item is a skate deck. This is really the only thing I wanted. And this is the guy right here.
Skeletor.
This is what you had,
Yeah,
correct?
it's Skeletor. Yep.
Great.
Masters of the
There it
Universe.
is.
Yep.
Everybody, get a good look at it. In 13 minutes, it's going on eBay.
This is the next item. This is Lino and Snarf, the crystal orange.
All right.
Luke, is this exactly what you got?
I think I got orange. I'm not sure.
It's funny to me because Patrick does not like He-Man or Masters of the Universe or Thundercats.
Yep.
Like none of these are properties that he is into.
So far I don't care. But hold on. There might be something else in here. I feel it. There for sure is something else in here.
This is good radio.
All right, here we go. This is a clear blue Mega Man.
Hey, Mega Man.
Now, do you like Mega Man?
Nah, I don't care. Luke, did you get this? Did you get blue as well?
I don't know. I think
Luke,
so.
did you just mail me your box so I would feel like I had closure?
Yeah.
Also, he is going to expect cash on delivery.
Right.
Is there anything else in this box, Luke? Or is
I don't think so.
Do you
Maybe
remember in the early 90s when like every like mail away deal, like commercial on Nickelodeon or whatever, at the end of it would say no CODs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
For whatever reason, I heard a commercial like a couple days ago that said the same thing, and it totally took me back. Like, who is even doing that anymore? Like, how is that even? Why do they have to proclaim that? Is there anybody sitting around wondering if they can just bill me later?
Right.
You know, I remember in the early 90s purchasing this 1 year delivery for I get a toy like basically every month, and they just finished fulfilling it today. Anyway, okay, so that's it. It's closed out. All this stuff. I don't even think eBay will take it. I'm just going to probably just give it away. Yeah, if anybody sees, if someone wants some of this stuff, then
just
Dance
pay
Monkey,
shipping.
do something and I'll send it to you.
Just pay shipping.
Pay some shipping
COD.
and I don't know, make a gesture. And then beyond that, I'll talk about it more in depth once I.
That was a gesture.
Did you just make a gesture at me? I'll
made
talk
a
about it
gesture.
more in depth once I have TV and film again. But I did see the film Borg and McEnroe.
You must have loved it because
very-
you've mentioned it quite a bit recently.
You've said
Yeah,
it
I
several
definitely-
times.
Yeah, I definitely recommended it. It's for rent right now on iTunes and some other. Nope, that alert's not important. It's for rent on iTunes. That's what I did, is rent it off there. It really deals a lot with, in my opinion, the kind of loneliness of not having anyone that understands you. And for these guys, it's that when like the pressure is as intense as it could possibly be. So I think it's in a lot of ways a film about loneliness. But I thought it was captivating. So if you haven't heard of it, look it up. And if you have, just go see it. Borg versus McEnroe. And again, I'll talk about it more in depth if I get that category in the future. Andrew, why don't you take it?
Okay, I've been back for 4 days, and it's just been work. It's just been nonstop work, getting back in the swing of things, getting the podcast shop up and running, doing some work for a client who we're rounding the bases. Patrick and I are rounding the bases on a client project, and we'll be glad to be up and running with that. It's live, but we have to do like some like the back end work now still. But I finished up all but one episode of Transparent. So I'll be finishing that tonight after we're done recording. And I picked up these little guys.
Nice.
Those are better than what I just got.
Yep.
Yeah. And this did not cost me emotional therapy. This it's the vinyl VYNL by Funko. It's their next release in this line, and it is Hellboy and Abe Sapien. And if you know me at all, you know I'm a big Hellboy fan. And so when I saw these guys, they just came out. When I saw these guys at GameStop, I was it was like a no-brainer.
That Hellboy looks good.
They look really good.
Yeah.
And I like them because they come with a clear, like acrylic base.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about them falling over. Like a lot of the pops Well, some of the pops these days are coming with a base, but a lot of the pops, the early ones especially, they're so top heavy that they fall over.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that with these. So I'm really excited. They're still in the box. I'm going to take them out and set them up. But oh my gosh, I love it so much. I went to Jimmy John's for dinner tonight.
Okay.
And I thought you guys should know
that.
Go
on, man. Go on.
Do you guys go to... I know, Luke, you've kind of been Jimmy John's out.
Yeah.
Because it's so close to you.
Yep.
Patrick, do you ever go to Jimmy John's?
Absolutely. Those guys, I don't know if it's an us thing or if it's a country thing. They deliver so fast, and they always
that's their motto, man.
All the
so
way.
Fast, you freak.
Freaky fast.
So if I need to eat lunch quick at work, they're only 2 blocks away, and so literally I'll place an order, and within 10 minutes they're there. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, so
this sounds like an advertisement. I genuinely am that impressed by it.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
not sponsored.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So I love Jimmy John's. They're not paying us to say that, but I do love Jimmy John's. They just changed their menu. Have you guys seen their menu?
No.
What changed?
Their in-shop menu. They're not offering anything new, but they changed the layout of their menu. I'm going to show it to you briefly to see if you can see it. I'm going to get the main camera to see it first, potentially. Maybe, come on. It's kind of blown out. Sorry, everybody. I'll send this picture to Luke, and you can maybe overlay it here.
Okay.
But can you see it?
Not really.
Yeah.
So the general layout looks nice. And at first when I walked in, I'm like, wow, that looks nice. It looks fresh. It's very clean lined. It's very nice looking. I have a big problem with it.
Why?
They have categorized their sandwiches into new categories.
Okay.
But in an effort to keep everyone's number the same number, so if you're used to walking in, I typically get a bootlegger, so I walk in and get a 14, no mayo, add cheese.
They're all over
right?
the place?
So now, yes, and so in an effort to keep everyone's number the same, the list now goes 8, 9, 10, 14, 16, 17, 7, 11, 12, 13, 15.
That's garbage.
And then 2, 4, 5, 1, 3, 6. They're all over the place.
Why hold on to that? Why hold on to that?
Because
if a new customer's coming in, that's awfully confusing.
It's and I'm an old customer, and that's still confusing. Wait a minute, where do I...
Just for the time being, let someone say their number, and you as the employee just say the name of the sandwich back to them to confirm. Right. And then move on.
I've for years said it would be fun to work with and for Jimmy John's on their design department because they're very fun.
Yeah.
If you ever sit in their shop, they have very fun sayings and really cool signage and stuff inside. And it's just playful and it doesn't take itself too seriously. But the food is genuinely very good. And it's simple. There's nothing crazy about it, nothing fancy. They're just fresh ingredients and great sandwiches. I'm disappointed in this design decision. It seems like in an effort to be intentional, which there was obviously thought. There was a conversation on the back end of, do we just renumber these? Do we just do this? And they made the decision to do it the way they did it. And I think they failed on the design front.
It just seems like if you go often enough, if you're a regular that you just go in and fire off your number, it doesn't seem like it'd take more than 2 or 3 weeks to correct the majority. The second thing is you could have just had
You mean correct to start saying the name and not the number?
I think the majority of people will adopt the new system within just a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. It was my point. You'd have 2 to 3 weeks of pain and confusion, and then the regulars would have been there enough to move past it. The second thing is you could have made it more fun by this is a number 4, old 7. So if someone wants to say, hey, I'll take the old 7, then you know what it is, and you can make that translation and then drop that in the future. But I think to not reference that this is an old system and to just put it in the new system, now how do you correct that problem? Now it seems like so much more pain to fix in the future.
Yeah.
So I think there's one thing you guys are missing. The majority of people are not walking in or ordering. And so this doesn't impact any of them. They're ordering online and they're ordering over the phone. And they're just saying the number that they want.
Yeah, but online, you don't just pick this. I don't just type in I want a 6. I go find the one that's called El Pepe or whatever.
Well, that's fine, though. It doesn't impact you, the changing of the menu board. All that impacts is their in-store customers, and I would say that is not the majority of their customer base.
I don't think that's accurate. I don't know. Well, I think you're just making an assumption based on how you do it or how you've seen people do it, but I don't know that that's entirely accurate.
Well, that's fine. That's what I'm thinking.
But either way, that honestly makes it worse.
Why?
Like, why? Because if it's not impacting the people who are in the store as much, if you're saying that the majority of the people aren't interacting in store anyway, then what's the purpose of restructuring the menu to look the way that it does?
Sure. No, I get that. That doesn't make sense.
It seems like all the numbers completely.
What?
I'm saying if we're only concerned about online audience, you could just drop the numbers fully for online audience and make them click the name. I mean, to me, the convenience of numbers is specifically for people in a drive-through. Or like in person or whatever, I'll take the number 4. I don't have to because I can't reach up and push the thing that I want, right? So that's like a quicker indicator. I don't know. I think they just compounded a problem. I think they took something, they could have solved it, and here's what they've done. They've introduced technical debt. They've said we want to have less resistance now, but we've instead created a bigger problem that we have to solve a year from now. So I think it's an instance of technical debt.
Yeah. All that said, I think maybe I spoke a little strongly. I think maybe in your area, it is more online and over the phone ordering because people live in the tundra of Ohio and no one wants to leave their house.
Listen.
But here, a lot more people, I think, go into the store.
Okay. Even in the store, it just looks bad. It doesn't necessarily really change much, right?
Right. It's functionally not any better. It's worse.
Why is it worse?
Why is it worse? Yeah. Because the numbers are all over the place. And so when you're walking in, you're trying to decipher, like, the 5 doesn't immediately precede the 6. They're in 2 separate parts of the menu now. Like,
I think that speaks more to your need for that cohesiveness, your OCD.
And it speaks to my need for
a linear list order. That's how.
Yeah, but I think if anybody comes in and says, "Why are your numbers all over the place?" and they just say, "Well, that was based on our old number system. We kept the numbers so people didn't have to relearn their sandwiches." That's easy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think I agree that's what they did. That is technical debt, and I think this is not on you, Luke. This is on Jimmy John's. I think that's a dumb decision to say, oh, that's our old dinosaur of a system. We'll just leave it in there. I think that just makes this weird, larger problem. That again, they could have with the regulars, with the people that are in there most often, it would have taken somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks to convert them over. But now they put something in place that's not only kind of confusing for them, but it is very confusing for future customers.
Yeah. Anyway, I say all that to say it's the first instance where I've looked at Jimmy John's design decisions and I just disagreed with them.
Is it possible it's only your local Jimmy John's and this isn't a national thing?
I guess it's possible. I haven't been to every Jimmy John's. The only one I went to tonight was the one that was here.
But that photo you took with your phone, it wasn't something you had online, right?
Yeah, I took it in the store. Yeah. And the guys I should say this for the purposes of the conversation. The entire staff that worked there recognized how dumb it is. And in fact, one of the guys behind the thing, which I disagree with this from a business perspective, so I'm not condoning this, but he said, you should call and complain about it seriously. I'm not gonna call anyone and complain about it. But every person who was there were 3 people working there at the time that I could see up front. All of them commented on how messed up it is, and they don't know why they did it the way they did it.
That's a good distinction, because I wouldn't take the time to call and complain, because I really don't care that much. That's a pretty good metric for how important something is. Like, is it worth calling a stranger to complain about it? And
now, if I were to meet the guy who's responsible for it, I would say,
punch him in the face. Just square up and hit him.
I would say, hey, why do we go this direction? And I say we because I'd like to think that I've contributed enough money to be a stockholder at this point.
Yeah.
Can I play devil's advocate for just a second?
I mean, that's what you do every other time.
Please.
You don't want to call and complain, but you're going to use a platform that has possibly more impact to complain about it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, this is garbage. This is a stupid decision by Jimmy.
I'm just saying
and John.
Here's the deal. No. Calling and complaining does what? I'm not asking them to. I'm not going to call them and ask them to change it. I'm not talking on this platform to get them to advocate for them to change it.
Right.
I am just talking about my feelings of being in there and feeling like it was not a cool decision. I don't need to call them and just say, hey, I didn't like this decision. Now, if I thought I wanted them to change it and actually do something with it, I would call them and not just talk about it on a podcast.
You don't want them to change it?
What? No? Why?
I mean,
like, what does it matter, ultimately?
That's what I'm asking. That's what I've been asking this whole conversation.
okay, no. You out.
No.
No, but listen, something can be a bad decision, but it doesn't mean that it needs to like drop what you're doing and change it right now. We can separate those two things.
I don't like how you're turning like you're trying to flip the cards back on me or flip the tables back on me.
I'm not at all.
I mean, you kind of are the way that you're presenting that. Like, hey, I've been saying that the whole time.
I haven't. Why does it matter?
It's not about whether or not they should change it. It's about why they made the decision in the first place. And considering this is a design podcast, and I'm representative of the design community, right? In this podcast, this is absolutely my prerogative to talk about a design function of a company that I love, and whether or not I agree with the function and flow of it, without me having to go to bat or go toe to toe with the actual company and try to get them to change it. Okay. I think there's a big distinction between that. Anyway, all that said, I got a cool toy, and I still ended up eating my sandwich after I figured out their menu.
But it tasted terrible.
It just tasted worse for some reason. Okay, that's you, Luke. Take it.
I came back with the con bug. So I've been sick this whole week. I've had a fever and a runny nose and a cough, and it's been bad.
Is con bug a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're around so many people. If you're not like drinking enough water or taking like
kids. I just feel like every possible disease is constantly in and out of your house 24/7.
No, that's not true. Not every single one. Most, but not every single one.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've been that, but we've had 2 days of like all day shoots for website photos we've been working on for a company. So I haven't been able to like relax at all. I've had to be like on the whole time. And so when I get home, I just collapse. But I did start watching one new show, which I'll talk about later. But really, that's about it, man. God of War comes out on the 20th. That game is incredible reviews. Hopefully, I'll be able to pick it up and play through it and not bawl like a baby because it's about a dad and a boy and his son.
It's about a dad, a boy, and his son.
No, a dad and his boy, his son is what I meant. So yeah, because I have two boys, I don't know. It's supposed to have a really good story, so we'll see. Other than that, man, Super Troopers 2 comes out. I'm excited about that.
It's out now.
It's out. As of an hour ago, it was out in limited release. It will be full release. I guess people hearing this, yes, it's out.
Limited release?
No. As far as we're recording on Thursday, pre-release. It comes out Friday the 20th, full release.
Oh, okay.
That's the distinction I was making. You were saying people listening on release day, it's out. You can see it, so go see it.
Yes.
Well, maybe go see it if you like that stuff.
Come on, it's Broken Lizard. It's gonna be good.
What is Broken Lizard?
No. That is not. I'm not.
What is
Broken Lizard?
What is a Broken Lizard?
It's the company that makes all those movies. Super Troopers.
Yeah. It's the company
Club Dread,
behind.
Like all
Beer
those.
Fest, I think, was them, and the one on the island. Oh, you just said the island one.
Club Dread.
Yeah,
Beer Fest. Slam and Salmon.
I do like a lot of the Broken Lizard films. I was just saying that it is definitely a certain style movie. It's not like a universal. We can all agree they're great films.
No,
it's
this is about my opinion.
I'm
I'm not saying. I think they're great, so I know it's going to be, I'll laugh and I'll love it. So I'm excited to see it.
I'm afraid to see it because I think that I have a picture of what these films are. And but it's been so long. I mean, it's been the better part of a decade since I've sat down and watched one of their films. And I'm afraid that if I sit down and watch one now, that I'll just feel like I'm not in on the joke anymore and I'll be miserable.
Oh, well, maybe. Who knows? I think it'll be great. I'm excited to see it. So,
hey, I do want to throw out one thing. For those keeping up with Barry, the reading of Glengarry Glen Ross is one of my favorite things that's happened on TV.
I want to see that whole movie. I want to see a whole movie redone that way. I think it would be brilliant.
And I felt the exact same way, because that's like a 7.5 minute scene from the actual film. I want to see all 7.5 minutes with that personality.
Good. So good.
I haven't seen the episode yet, so I don't know. You keep referencing it. I think this is the 4th time I've heard you reference it in the last 3 days.
It's because it's so good.
I don't have any frame of reference for it yet.
Make sure if someone's going to watch the episode and they don't know what Glengarry Glen Ross is, if you Google it, this will be the first scene that pops up. It's like a 7.5 minute scene of like this group of people that like sell real estate getting berated, basically. And so make sure you watch that first and then watch the Barry scene. That's all I'll say.
So great. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
All right, well, that's it for our Around the Table. Up next, we will be talking about some master categories. If you're watching this on YouTube, that means that you have style and you know what's smart in life.
You actually got to see this skate deck.
And if you know what's smart and what's good, then you should head to shop.mf1podcast.com to get all of your official M of One Podcast merchandise. It's been a long time coming. I mean, we've had
a long, hard road.
I'm just making sure there's nothing else in here.
Oh, okay,
the YouTube audience is really getting this right now. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, they really are. They're literally the only ones getting this because this doesn't roll out to our audio audience. But head to the shop like Patrick told you about earlier. It's a ton of fun. The mugs in there are great. You can get them right-handed or Luke-handed. And so just have fun with that. And while you're at it, you can support the show on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/M of One Podcast to help support the show financially for a few bucks each month. It gets you the blooper level, and you can get a whole bunch. And I imagine we should have some bloopers coming up soon, right?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely. Y'all said bunches of dumb stuff.
We're way too serious
we
now.
Did.
It took us 10 minutes to record an 18-second drop that never even aired.
That's true.
That's actually very true. And when you say it that way, it sounds sad. like I'm
almost
a little
wasteful, even.
I'm a little sad that was how we spent that part of that evening, given how much we had to do. But that's okay. Head to patreon.com/M of One Podcast now to contribute and become a patron. You also get exclusive access to our patron channel on our new Discord family. So head to mf1podcast.com/family and you can join the conversation there. We've abandoned Slack. So if you're still hanging on to Slack,
down.
we will no longer
yourself CKS Design. You're the only one in there.
Yeah. So head over to mf1podcast.com/family to join the Discord conversation. Other than that, social media everywhere, M of One Podcast. You know how to find us. Thank you.
It's true.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Patrick.
And I'm Luke.
Peace out.
Bye.
Hold on to your butts.